Hello there, and welcome back to the SWTVC podcast, the audio home of the SWTVC crew and the ongoing push for the continued existence, expansion, and success of the heritage scale of Star Wars collecting. I'm your host, Evan, and this week, the gang's all here. In the wake of some dope reveals of deluxe figures, John, Lewis, Tyler, Carlo, and I all sat down to gab about them. And heck, to make things even better, as I'm recording this, we're all hopefully sitting pretty on some pre-orders for the Book of Boba Fett and Fennec Shand, which are coming soon. We had a fun chat, and my last intro was long and ranty, so without further delay, here's our deluxe chat. All right, so let's talk about the Rancor. I'm just kidding. So we've talked about the Rancor. The dust is settling there. There is a lot of stuff, as Yakface pointed out in an article recently, friend of the show, Jason. There are a lot of outstanding pre-orders right now, and some of them are actually somehow sliding through the distribution boogaloo, and we are starting to see some product come in. Pardon my voice cracking right there. It's early in the morning, and I guess that's a thing. I go through puberty every morning. I know my Target actually got a windfall of Black Series product. Boo, but they do have some vintage collection on the way. Yay! I'll go check that out after we record. We'll see if it's the fabled New Wave with Bo-Katan, who I did get early from GameStop this week, and I was very excited about that. I took some photos. You can see those on Mile High Ground. But that said, I got a Bo-Katan this week. Hooray! I'm excited. What else did you guys get this week? Let's go ahead and start with Lewis. Any new arrivals for you? I think there are.
Yeah, finally. I mean, I think the last thing I had through was the carbonized stuff, which I don't even know if I really count anyway. I just get it because I have to. So it feels like it's been a hell of a long while. I think especially as the previous stuff was ahead of itself. So yeah, finally, I know I've been moaning about this because the Lando wave just hadn't hit in the UK at all. I don't know why, it just seemed like it is non-existent. The Lando wave is finally showing up, and I actually got Lando and IG through from Pulse. They still haven't got the Emperor or T-Bone, but I'm glad to have the two better ones out of that wave, to be fair. And finally got them great figures. Really happy to have those. And then this morning, I wasn't even expecting it. Got a box through this morning, and I got 3 of the blue Micro Series ARC Troopers through. So starting to come through as well. I think those. I actually ordered those. What the UK suppliers do is they won't ship unless they've got the whole order in. So because over here we get solid cases, what tends to happen is the blue ARCs have all come in, but the other figures haven't. So Star Action figures in demand, they're all sitting on them until you get the rest. But what I actually happened to do was I went back and ordered 3 more blue ARCs. So fortunately for me, the blue ARCs come in until I've got those. So I have got more to come, but yeah, they're probably just sitting on those. So it's great to have something come in though.
Finally, right?
Yeah.
John, how about you?
I got my droids C-3PO figures from Target this week. And of course, with shipping of these exclusives, it's always a crapshoot how they're going to arrive. Mine were in a box that were big enough that both of them arrived together. Bubble wrapped nicely, but maybe too nicely. They were a little bit warped in the box, but nothing too terrible. So I was able to open one of them. You got to pick. The coin is going to be a thing. It's how upright is the coin going to be in the package?
I've not seen anyone yet that's had a straight one actually.
Yeah.
I've seen a few people posted, not a single straight one.
I bet mine's going to come in upside or backwards. I bet I'm going to get my coin backwards.
Yeah.
Mine's like less than 15 degrees off, so I think I'll be all right with that.
Does it move at all if you shake it? Is it fixed? It's fixed.
I'm not going to shake it. Because if it does and then it moves the wrong way, I'll be very sad. But so the figure itself, it's the old mold from 11 years ago, which it's a little short. It's a little past its prime, maybe. It looks great in and of itself, and the detail still looks sharp, and the colors are really awesome. I love these weird, wacky repaints, as we discussed previously. I will say that his panels, when I pulled them off, you can see the cracks now when I try to put them back on. It's a little more noticeable than it has been for me on previous versions of this sculpt, especially the panel on the back, which I always forget about, but it was like assembled upside down when I got it, and so trying to flip it, every time I move it, it seems to fly off the desk. So I don't know what's going on with that, but glad to have it. Waiting for the others, and yeah.
Nice. Yeah, there hasn't been any update. Yeah, it hasn't been any update on Boba or R2 yet, but I can't see those being too far behind. I hope
They're
they
supposed to be coming next week for us. Whether or not that's going to happen, I don't know.
See, you just had to be patient, Lewis. You didn't get the Lando Emperor wave when we did, but now you're getting all of it.
It's almost like, I wonder if that stuff was coming over on a boat and got held up and everything else is being airdropped. I'm not sure, but it just seems like everything's leapfrogged that wave. So, for whatever reason.
Yeah, because they airshipped the Lando wave to America, it seems. That's how we were able to get it pretty quickly. So,
that's how it showed up real quick after the Ahsoka wave was popping up in some stores. So, Tyler, how about you? Did you get anything new this week?
Yeah, I got a couple of minty fresh how it feels to chew 5 gum. Mandalore Ahsoka's from Big Bad Toy Store. Always worth getting the collector grade ones if you want the best of the best as far as carded samples go. They are a little bit more expensive, but if you're a carded collector, they're worth it. That was not a sponsored message, just my recommendation. Anyway, yeah, I got that. And then just today, this morning, Lane came home with a Gaming Great Scout Trooper and one of the battle droids as well. And she found them at FYE of all places.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
A little bit
Sweet.
upcharged, unfortunately. Really upcharged in my opinion, but never gonna say no. So thanks, babe. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah. Carlo, how about you? Did you get any new acquisitions this week?
Yes, I got Bo-Katan. She's right here.
Ooh.
Jealous.
Yeah.
Twinsies.
Yes. Yeah, I love the figure. I'm really impressed. I think she's in my top 5 favorite figures of this year.
Wow.
Yeah, and it looks like the what is it? This part of the articulation, like the waist, I guess, the femur. What is that called? They have different. It's like a different system. They don't have the swivel anymore. Like other figures, we have to twist it in order to move the leg forward. Now it just goes. It reminds me kind of like G.I. Joe, maybe.
Oh, so a new hip joint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she can kneel, which is amazing. I think this is the first Star Wars figure that can kneel with no problems.
That's really cool.
Yeah, her range of motion is nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I was worried that she was going to look a little shiny because some of the pictures that were coming through the pipe from the first few folks that had them and some of the promo shots, she looked a little almost carbonized. But my God, as soon as I got her in hand, those fears were gone.
Oh,
She's not overly shiny. Like I had her next to the Black Series one, which I have. Yes, I know. And good God, the colors are night and day. The Black Series one looks like a cartoon, kind of like Quill. I'm actually I was looking at the credit collection Black Series Quill compared to the regular Black Series Quill, and I'm not convinced they didn't accidentally swap them because the credit collection one looks more accurate to the show than the mainline release. It's the weirdest thing. I'm excited for ours.
They have a problem. They have a problem with oversaturation on the coloring, and I don't know what's up with that, but
I've noticed that too. That like their colors are always brighter or lighter. I don't know.
Yeah,
but definitely.
Bo-Katan and Kuiil are probably the worst examples, but.
Yeah, and she's the vintage collection figure is just outstanding. Like I'm not quite sure we deserve figures this good. She's up there with Maul and Boba Fett.
She really is, yeah.
Out of interest, where did you both pick them up from? Did you find them in stores or did you get them?
Pre-ordered from GameStop back when they were announced. So
they must be getting solid cases as well then, if they've not got the rest of the wave yet. Or did you just order both?
Yeah.
I ordered them all, and they've just, I think they've just been getting solid cases. They were supposed to send me 2 Bo-Katan, but only one was in the box. And when I went to be like, hey, can I get the other one? They're like, oh, we're sold out. So that's okay. I'm sure I'm going to find her sooner rather than later. I have an open one. I'm just looking for a carded one now. Speaking of the card, Carlo, did you notice?
Oh my gosh, I forgot to bring that up. Yes, it is definitely, it feels thinner for some reason.
Yeah, it's not me. It's not just me. It's softer. No. It's like thickness-wise, like it's still technically the same, but
thinner than what they have been.
It's the same thinness or thickness, have you? But it's like a different, softer material. Like it's just paper. Like
it's silken card back.
It's not game board quality then.
Nope, it is actually the opposite of what they said, that they were going to be increasing the card back thickness.
Wow.
So Hasbro, when are we
Yikes.
going to be implementing that new thicker card stock that you were talking about? Obviously not 2022 Wave 1, so.
Yeah, the droids is the same as it has been as well. It feels a little sturdier overall because the bubble is much taller on this one. So the whole package feels a little sturdier, but yeah, the card itself is not any better.
The Antok Merrick was thicker, which was nice. I remember that.
Right, yeah.
And I imagine the Bad Batch pack will probably... I imagine the exclusives may have already made the jump to the thicker card stock, but I was disappointed seeing how absolutely devastatingly flimsy this is. So anyway, well, cool. Sounds like we all got at least something to be somewhat happy about this week. So in the wake of the Rancor kind of, getting crushed by the gate of the Star Wars collecting community. So in the wake of the Rancor failing, we did actually get some really awesome vintage collection announcements for Bring Home the Bounty, which has been, as John put it in the notes, a mixed bag. I'll go ahead and let him run us through what the Bring Home the Bounty program has entailed for 3 3/4-inch Star Wars.
Yeah, so this past week was week 9, which we finally got some awesome stuff. Week 1 had the Mando Season 2 Retro Collection figures. Week 2 advertised the Target droid figures that had already come and gone. Kind of strange that they would advertise those again.
Yeah.
Week 3 brought us some new figures right after one of our recording sessions, so we didn't really talk about them. Those were Ahsoka Tano Corvus and the Death Watch Mandalorian, which were awesome to see.
One thought is, I remember thinking it was a little odd that Corvus Ahsoka didn't come with her cloak, but we'll talk about that in a sec. The Death Watch Mandalorian is awesome, but it's let's see, it uses a lot of parts from Din, correct?
Yeah, from the first Din.
The original Din,
Yeah.
Which
Right,
is smart. I'm really happy to see them really getting creative with these new Mandalorians, because there's so many parts to mix and match now that they can really go nuts. So
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah,
I was
thinking about that with Bo-Katan. Maybe you can use some parts for Casca. So
easily, for sure.
Sabine, yeah.
And we are getting other Mandalorians. We talked about this before, but the Clone Wars versions. And it was a little confusing because Hasbro pipelined a Clone Wars image of a Death Watch Mandalorian airborne trooper. And then we saw this Death Watch guy from Mandalorian Season 1 in the flashback where Din is joining the clan for the first time. And so it was like, okay, are we getting both the animated one and the realistic one? Because they're not, I guess they're the same faction. Not exactly. One follows Bo-Katan, but she also called these guys like crazy nut jobs.
Yeah.
And Black Series got both. So hopefully we're still getting that as well. That was my only question about that guy. In addition to, why is his jetpack upside down?
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. They need to be going up, not down.
It's another ball of wax. But so those are very exciting. Week 4 and 5 brought us nothing. Week 6, at least of interest to us. I mean, I'm sure there were some nice socks or Grogu plushies or something, which is fine. Week 6 brought carded shots of Queel and Bo-Katan, showing us the cards for the first time. Those figures had been on sale since, I think, June.
Yeah.
And the images of Queel and Bo-Katan looked worse than the earlier images. And they also looked worse than the...
That moustache.
Yeah.
That's the first time we've moaned about moustache.
pro mustache here, but Queel, it seemed like he had fallen in the white paint or something like the Joker. He had fallen in the vat of
Cesar Romero.
I appreciate that reference.
Yeah. But luckily, the final in-hand figures look amazing. They look like the original pictures we'd seen. So that was a little bit of like, okay, we already bought these figures 6 months ago. Now they look like turds. What's going on here?
Yeah.
So then week 7 and 8 also didn't bring anything, but week 9 this past week finally brought us some really exciting new stuff.
Yeah, much needed.
Yes. Right the day after the Rancor failed, and we were all... November was very quiet for vintage collection news, so it was really nice to hit the ground running in December with these amazing sets, which I'll just say there were 3 deluxe vintage collection sets.
So the 3 deluxe packs that were revealed are Ahsoka Tano Corvus, an Incinerator Trooper, Navarro Cantina, and a Stormtrooper with an E-Web cannon. So those were super exciting. So let's go ahead and run through those. Let's start with Ahsoka Tano and Grogu.
Yes. So it seems to be the same figure, base figure, revealed in week 3. with the additional accessories. I'll just run them down real quick. She has the cloak. She has a new Grogu who is sitting down to practice using the Force. So I believe the entire thing is new. Not 100% sure on that. There's a levitating rock and a levitating gear shift knob. And there's a lantern that Ahsoka can carry. And also, atop that can sit Morai, her convor, that kind of the mysterious owl creature that sort of follows her around wherever she appears and does something super Force awesome-ish.
Yeah.
And as well as her 2 lightsabers, and there was a little confusion on that, but
and there's some stands as well, isn't there, for the rock and the gear shift knob? You've actually got stands.
I sort of,
oh my god, I
really
can't get over those little stands.
Yeah.
I
They're
really
so
hope that
tiny.
I hope that the knob and the rock are on the stand. I don't know if they're going to be able to be removed from the stand. Like,
I was thinking the same.
I will lose them. They're removable and they're losable very easily.
Yeah.
Oh, with the amount of accessories here is great. So these sets were what, $21, $20.99 or something like that.
£22 over here. Well,
2097.
$20.97 because Walmart ends in a weird number always. Yeah.
$19.95 for us if we picked them up from Star Action Figures. So I'm
nice.
advertising them, but yeah, I mean, it's really good price. Really good price.
Yeah, that it's good, and especially compared to, I know there were some folks moaning and groaning. I think the Melto Crease pack, we'll get into that more, was $26.49. This one, these being a lesser price point, but still having just an absolute plethora of accessories and stuff that you're not getting in the mainline release, only for a few bucks more. Just right at first impression seeing these, I was like, wow, this is, didn't even expect these coming. Super glad to see them. How about you guys?
I think for me, the Ahsoka is blown my mind, actually. I think that's my favourite. She's a favourite character of mine anyway. She won my personal March Madness. So when they obviously revealed her on the recent Bring Home the Bounty, I was chuffed because I genuinely didn't think, I thought we got to the point where we wasn't going to see that Corvus Ahsoka anymore. I thought perhaps they were waiting for the Ahsoka show to come out before we actually see a live action Ahsoka. So I was really pleased with that. But I'm over the moon with this set. I think it's an amazing set. I'm actually quite surprised they brought it out and revealed it before the mainline figures out, because you do think, are some people going to hold off buying the mainline? Are they going to think, oh, well, this one's got the cloak, it's got the accessories, it's exactly the same figure, or it looks to be. Why buy the main? Unless you're a carded collector, you sort of think, why would you buy the mainline? It's not going to stop me, but it seems an interesting decision from them on that one. But yeah, otherwise, can't fault it at all.
Yeah. So my thoughts on the cloak is that I'm just hoping that doesn't set a precedent that soft goods are now only going to come with deluxe. That's my I'm not so sure about this. I don't get me wrong, I appreciate that they included the cloak with this, but like I said, I just hope that there's not a precedent being set where, figures that have robes or cloaks are going to have to come out in a deluxe way in order to get those, robes or cloaks. The vintage collection has always been about premium action figures along with soft goods. So I hope to see that not changing. But
yeah, and maybe because she. Not that I'm trying. You know what? I'm not going to say maybe because I'm not going to justify it. Yes, I agree with you, Tyler. I definitely hope this doesn't set a precedent for soft goods being a deluxe, but it does help sweeten the deal alongside, other smaller accessories. So it does add more perceived value to the set that you don't get in the mainline release.
I think all I was going to say, sorry, Joe, all I was going to say was a lot of people were asking, where is the cloak when the mainline one was released? And really, when you look at the show, I think there's a very small part where she's not wearing it. I think the majority of the time she's wearing it. So it was a strange decision not to include it. So you have to wonder if it was always in their minds that, like Tyler says, they were holding it back for the deluxe. So it makes you wonder.
Yeah. I mean, because we still got some nice soft goods recently on Palpatine and Lando and the upcoming Jedi. They redid their cloaks. So I can't speak for their budget at all. Maybe her deco is just so involved that, that cost a little more than. They just couldn't cost it out to include a soft goods robe in the mainline version or something. But yeah, I agree. Hopefully it's not only reserved. I don't think it will be, but
Yeah. Well, besides Lando, though, all those other figures are either repacks or,
sure.
partially tooled. So maybe that's what I was going to say is like maybe, with an all new figure, even though her hands are reused. So she's technically not all new, but we talked about it briefly. I'm counting her as all new.
Right.
Because essentially she is.
Yeah, because her forearms and hands seem to be from the Mandalore Clone Wars Ahsoka.
Yeah, which works fine. But yeah, maybe they weren't able to kind of not justify, but they weren't able to kind of price that accordingly with a mostly new figure like that with a ton of tooling involved and an all new soft goods. But as a consumer, that doesn't matter to me. I just want the cloak. So I'm glad we're getting it. I do wish it was in the mainline release.
Mhm.
John, you mentioned one thing about a little bit of confusion on the lightsabers. I know in one of the promo shots for the Ahsoka thing, it looked like she was holding 2 of the full-size lightsabers instead of Shoto. Luckily, the packaging confirms that it is a Shoto and her regular lightsaber. So if anyone out there is a psychotic, moron like me, fear not. It should be fine. So
I just wanted to add that I appreciate that they included Moray or Morai, however it's pronounced. I thought that was a really nice touch, and I see a lot of people in the community really going wild over that. It's a simple little thing, but that was really cool that's included with the pack. So
I'll say because it's barely visible in this episode, but like it's such a part of her history and the story that it's really cool to include it here.
Absolutely.
yeah. Have we ever had Morai in the 3 3/4 inch scale?
Nope,
No.
not in any scale.
Don't.
Perfect. Then this is good old character debut in a deluxe pack.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I really appreciate this pack for that reason. Even the lamp to me is mind-blowing. I feel like we haven't seen anything like this in a very long time.
No, it's like the Navarro set, isn't it? With the little cups and the glasses and the bottles in the Navarro set. They really are paying attention to these little things now.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're simple
I am
people.
super excited for that set too.
We appreciate the little details.
I'll say real quick, her face in the promo images, I'm sure it's the same sculpt as the basic release, but for something about the way that the basic release was shot, her face was not 100% there for me. But on this, I was just shocked at how good she looks.
A lot of their promo shots lately have been, I think poor would be an understatement, but the ones for this set definitely put the figure in not only, speaking metaphorically or figuratively, it literally also put her in a better light as well. So
yeah, I feel like it makes you super excited for them. For me, the shot that like blew my mind from the promo shots is where she's holding Grogu, and you can see, and she's not wearing the hood. The hood's back on her, and you can see the folds of the fabric of the soft goods, and she's holding Grogu. And, wow, whoever posted that figure and took that picture, like,
they knew what they were doing.
It makes me really excited. Yeah.
See, that was really nicely done. That one was really nicely done.
It's a big jump from an upside down jetpack.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to bring up. That's what I wanted to bring up is one final point before we move on to the incinerator. Is that a lot of people were commenting when we put up the promo shots like her knees don't bend, and I'm like, yes, they do. Obviously, she has knees that can articulate, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, they didn't pose her with her legs being bent at all. So, and like you mentioned, they put up the Death Watch Mando with his jetpack upside down. Like, can we have somebody who knows what they're doing take these promo shots, please? Like, please. Just saying. All right, we can move on now.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, I do want to mention her. She does have those weird knees in both releases where it's like, it's almost like her pants are longer in front of the knees or something. And like, I'm really interested to see how that.
So baggy.
Yeah, going back to what you said about Bo-Katan being able to kneel down, it makes you wonder if she will be able to kneel down with those knees the way that they've been sculpted, actually.
So the next pack then was the Incinerator Trooper, yes?
Yeah, Incinerator Trooper and Grogu.
And that's a partially tooled Grogu as well, new arms and new face.
I think, I can't tell if the body's also new. I didn't actually compare, but I think the original assumption is, they're only adding a new face, but it might be an entirely new body. He's got his hands stretched out and his eyes closed to hold back the flames that are coming.
Do the magic hands, baby.
I'll say the Incinerator Trooper was previously released as a Walmart exclusive about a year ago, about this time a year ago, for $17.88.
Yes.
And was more recently a carbonized figure for about the same. But the big new inclusion here is obviously the rocker ankles.
Yes.
Rocker ankles.
They heard us.
Once again, proving that Hasbro is listening to us, at least sometimes, on the important things. sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and
That's
I
great.
was just lamenting literally while I was in the store the other day to you guys in our little group chat where I was looking at a freshly restocked peg of carbonized Incinerator Troopers. I never once saw the regular Incinerator Trooper at retail. Never, ever.
No,
me neither.
Yeah.
I don't think it did hit retail, at least not
I never
widespread.
saw images of it anywhere.
Yeah, I
Other than Canada.
Other than
Canada
Canada.
doesn't count.
yeah. In fact, my first one did come from Canada. My buddy DJ
Oh, yeah.
found those, and he got me one. And then they came in after they were supposed to. Again, Walmart exclusive. So that whole rollout with that figure in the original Din build-up pack, awful. But yeah, I was just lamenting, like, why am I seeing? Why do they keep restocking this carbonized garbage, and the regular ones are nowhere to be found? Well, I'm glad that the regular ones didn't get just another simple run to be put on pegs, because we are getting a huge upgrade here with the rocker ankles in this deluxe pack.
It really makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
And I'll just say the set also comes, so he still comes with his backpack and the flamethrower and the flame accessory that's coming out of the flamethrower.
Backpack's still upside down as well, annoyingly.
I was just going to bring that
Oh,
up.
jeez. I
Yeah.
didn't notice it until you said it. Two steps forward with our rocker ankles and one step back.
Yeah, well, look, a net positive finally.
Yes. But he also comes with some new flame accessories, like the giant one that Grogu pushes back in the show, and then a few smaller ones, which are exciting because you can put them in the Cantina playset, because this is another piece that goes with that upcoming Navarro Cantina playset.
As someone who lacks editing skills, and I know I'm not the only one out there who's a master with Photoshop, like Lewis and Carlo, but as a simple man trying to make his way across the galaxy, I really appreciate these flame pieces a lot. I think they're awesome, and they're very welcome. I appreciate these. So
Yeah.
nice touch. Very nice touch.
I agree. I also love that, this set really, they really are committing to building out this Navarro play set.
Yeah. But the fact that they are continuing to add these new pieces, as well as the next figure, which we'll get to in a second, I really appreciate that, because, again, a lot of people have said, the carbon freezing chamber playset comes out, and then 2 years later, we finally get Lando and Lobot and Bespin Leia. It's like, why was there nothing to go with this at the time? So these kind of, coordinated releases is exactly what I want to be seeing in the line. So I'm very excited about
Yes. Yeah, it feels more cohesive.
Yes, exactly.
Interestingly, then, just going back to that, John. Interestingly, one of these packs could work amazingly with an Ugnaught and a console.
Yeah.
If this is what they're doing now, going back and using these sets to fill out some of those scenes, then there has potential for all of those sets we've seen before to actually start to go back and fill in some bits.
Yeah. Similar to the Incinerator Trooper, but this is the Stormtrooper Navarro Cantina, as called out on package. It's this, I believe it's the same sculpt as the Incinerator Trooper, but it's a basic, clean Stormtrooper with rocker ankles, which is awesome. Because there's really only one Incinerator Trooper in the show. I'm sure there's more in the army, but we're going to want a lot of these plain Stormtroopers with rocker ankles.
Yeah. Finally, that sculpt was already definitive, and literally the rocker ankles were the only thing that could have been improved upon that thing. And now with the rocker ankles, I think we've hit the top of the mountain of Stormtrooper figures.
Yeah. Other than a holster.
Yeah, we need a working holster like the Luke Skywalker and Stormtrooper disguise.
Or the paint from the 4-packs, which has been a little, we didn't really talk about that a whole lot, but those have been hit or miss. Some of them are quite good, some of them not so much. So, other than that, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole right now.
But I will say, I wish they would have held off on those 4-packs until they had this rocker ankle stuff sorted out, because now
it would have been nice.
So do we think that this is going to hit mainline then? Do we think this particular sculpt now they've done it, is going to come out in a Mandalorian card, would you guess?
Eventually.
Yeah, that would be, I would love to see that.
Yeah.
See, I wish they would have done this before I bought 150 of them.
That's how they get you.
Well, I was just going to say, Tyler, I've still got figures on order with EE, and I know you have, for the Rogue One Stormtroopers. So
yep.
Are they, and they keep pushing those back. I think they've been pushed back to June now. So are those in production? Have they been produced? If not, do they make a running change? I doubt it. I don't think they will. But, is there a possibility that those Rogue One Troopers could end up being rocker ankle versions where the tooling's changed. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens there, or do they just cancel all of our orders and say, look, we're not making that anymore. Here's a new Mandalorian version. It'd be interesting to see where this takes us.
Yeah.
Agreed. It's an interesting question. Yeah.
Yeah, I think regardless, though, however they get it out there, I'm there for it. I think.
Yeah.
It's,
Just get it out there. Take my money. Take all of my money. Yeah.
and then that's not even the most interesting part of this set, is it?
There's more to it than just ankles. We're like a repressed man in the 1920s. Ooh, we're getting really excited about ankles.
Hey, Stormy, give me a look at those gams.
But he also includes an E-Web cannon, which is so awesome to see, because we've had previous E-Web cannons in 1980, 1997, and 2003, which have been repacked in multi-packs over the years. And at least, I'm not sure about the Kenner one, but the Hasbro ones have had firing missiles. So, there's always a little bit of give and take with the sculpt.
This is newly tooled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Newly tooled
100% new sculpt, new
And
tool.
it looks better scaled, actually. I think the one that came with, is it the Saga pack? Was it that came with the Hoth Trooper? It's a bit oversized. It may be right for the Trooper that came with it, but I think looking at this one, it definitely looks like it's a much better scaled E-Web.
Yeah.
Right. If you look at one of the promo shots on the listing, you can see that the head, the way they post them, the Stormtrooper's head matches the what's it called, the sight, the
sight.
Yeah, so you can actually look through it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And at the very end of that, and also he can, in the promo images, it shows him, you can pick it up off the base, which I don't think you could do on the previous versions. Which
you can, because I've done a shot of it actually. Yeah, you can, but it does look a bit oversized.
Okay, but so now you can recreate the scene in the season 1 finale where Mando picks it up and just mows down those troopers,
and then gets his ass blown up real hard.
But it also, at the very end of that E-Web, it has a blast effect, which is a real throwback to the 2002 Saga line, which I know some people were mixed on those, but I really love those. And it's similar to the flames in the Incinerator Trooper pack, where it's just a little thing, it's not, again, we don't all have the photography skills of Carlo and Lewis, but like I know Marvel Legends has it. I'm looking at an Iron Man right now that has the blast effects. It's just a little something that adds a little action to the scene, to the shelves.
Yeah, so a good friend of mine, Adrian at AOS.customs, said exactly your point, that they're reminiscent of those figures from the early 2000s that had the lightsaber deflecting blasts and the pieces that could go in the ends of the rifles and all that stuff, which is really a really nice throwback. But I agree, it adds a lot to a display, and makes you think that, man, those figures at the time were ahead of their time, huh? We didn't appreciate that stuff back then, but
they brought those back a little bit on the 40th anniversary of New Hope and Force Awakens.
The
titanium figures, which were very static, and they don't have a lot of action, so they need all the help they can get.
I think those are the only 3/4 inch products in the modern, in modern memory that I did not buy at all. So
good. Me neither.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and those ones are like, they're sculpted into, it's like a second blaster with the effect, or a second lightsaber with a swinging thing. So it's not something you clip on. But and they've done it a few times in Black Series and, like I said, Marvel Legends. But yeah, this is the first time in quite a long time that we've seen them in 3 3/4.
Yeah.
So I love that stuff, and again, so now we're building out the inside and the outside of the Navarro Cantina. There's still a ways to go. We still need the speeder bikes.
The only downside there, actually, John, is that we don't have an outside of the Cantina. That's the only thing. Because it would be nice to display it on the shelf sort of sideways on, so you can have your ITT one side with, your E-Web, and then inside you can have the other bits. And unfortunately, because of the way they've done it, and for obvious reasons they've done it the way they've done it, but we're going to have to add to that in some way to make the other side, aren't we? Again, who knows? Hasbro might do it themselves, but kind of get the feeling that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a HasLab Outland tie with a nice game board backdrop of the
and soft goods on Gideon.
Yes.
Not saying that it's it's not like an apology tour here. They don't owe us any apologies for anything, at least officially not. Sometimes we may feel like it. But these 3 sets in particular, absolutely hit on things that the community as a whole has really been like asking for
Yeah.
specifically and repeatedly over the last year or two. These,
even down
Ahsoka's
to the
robe,
packaging.
down to the packaging.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, like rock rankles on the Stormtrooper, some more fire effects, building out play sets that you're announcing. Yeah. I'm very, very pleased with these. The only downside is that they're Walmart exclusive. But, even then Walmart has, even though we've had the experience with the Maldo Crease pack being a bit of a bungled rollout, as is tradition with Mando Grogu packs at Walmart now, including wrong numbers. This is a great line expression. I think there's a lot of possibilities here. So, I mean, we didn't even talk about really the packaging itself being a plastic free sort of move on. So
it's on the list.
Just real quick. Yeah, just real quick. I just want to say, as I've said regarding sort of things that are a little bit more expensive, like around the $20 mark, I've talked about carbonized and said that, if you want to charge me $20 for something, that's fine, but make it worth my money. This is an example of what I was talking about.
100%.
I don't want to be charged $20 for shiny, gimmicky crap.
Yep.
I want to be charged $20 for more. Give me more. And this is exactly what we're talking about. So more of this, less of the carbonized, please.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Absolutely.
And it makes you wonder, though, doesn't it? How can they provide this at this price point when you have got carbonized stuff that's basically the same price? What, it does make you start to question, what are you getting for that carbonized? I mean, is it really that expensive?
You're getting paint deco.
Yeah.
Paint deco and thicker card backs. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope carbonized does not continue. Unfortunately, I foresee it continuing at least a wave every year.
Well, if people keep buying it.
Yeah. I'm part of the problem. I bought a set, but I didn't even cave to buy an extra short trooper to open just because they looked like crap. I told myself just one, that's it. So, but I buy multiples of literally everything else. So
Do we want to talk about this expression, or do we want to talk about the Maldo Crease Mando real quick first?
Let's talk about this expression because the Maldo Crease is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, this is a new expression for vintage. It's a return of the box style that we previously saw in TVC 1.0 in some of those Kmart exclusives like the Ewok Catapult, the Ewok 2-pack, the ATSC Driver 2-pack, the Imperial Scanning Crew 2-pack. And these are plastic free. We know that Hasbro has pledged to have at least some percentage of their packaging be plastic free by the end of 2022. We don't know quite yet what that means for basic vintage figures. If they're going to say this is part of the this is part of the product, not just part of the packaging.
Yeah.
But I hope it doesn't change. I hope they do what's right for the planet. But I also, selfishly, I want them to continue the look of vintage collection.
Mhm.
But having said that, I do think I love this expression. I love the way this looks. I love the fact that it does offer so much more than what you can fit on a regular vintage card.
While still keeping that Kenner aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Kenner feel. Because Kenner also had some of those. They had an E-Web back in the day, which was like a box sort of situation. I don't know, like a smaller box, somewhere between, not as big as like a land speed or something, but larger than a card. So it's just providing another one of those entry points. And I've talked before, $20 doesn't go as far today as it did 10, 15, 20 years ago, obviously. But it's great to have more entry points for people in the line. A $20 gift, for a birthday or whatever, that if someone's going to snatch it off the pegs instead of a $20 Black Series figure or whatever.
Yep.
Just more ways to build out the line and to get people into the line.
And this comes too just at a time where, we had the Rancor disaster where it was being sold on deco for why it was so expensive. And same with, Cobb Vanth and now Boba Fett in the Black Series. They're both at a ridiculously high price point, but they don't offer anything beyond what a basic figure would come with. It's just purely, I think, deco excuses for why they cost that much and then a larger package.
Yeah. I don't think fans are really going for that.
They're not.
So.
Black Series fans,
I mean, and
rightfully so.
And we don't know what, we don't have an insight into their books. Maybe it really does cost a lot, but it doesn't offer the value to the end
perceived
consumer.
value for the
No.
consumer.
Yeah.
So we're talking as consumers here. So
Yeah.
So, real quick, I just want to make the point. I see a lot of people often say, people who are openers, let's say, right? People who don't really care about the packaging, the Kenner style packaging aesthetic, right? and they're like, yeah, but the kind of people who are like, give me my figure in a brown paper bag. I don't care. I just want the figure, right? What their argument is that, in fact, the Kenner style packaging is quote unquote limiting, right? Because of the size of the dimension of the cards, the size of the bubbles. And, you can only pack in so many accessories, and it's kind of constrictive. I think that argument has been thrown out the window with these new expressions. So I don't ever want to hear that again. That's not an excuse anymore.
It doesn't take that much effort for Hasbro to flex a little bit of creative energy to come up with ways to make new line expressions within the vintage collection aesthetic, like these packs.
And it's up to retailers to want to buy them, of course.
Because we've seen these boxes now. We've seen this card, the bigger card. We've also seen, even with the droids figures, they're not, strictly speaking, Kenner card. I mean, they're the original Kenner cards, aren't they? But again, it's a deviation away. And it does give Hasbro that opportunity to just at times pull away a bit and say, right, okay, we're not going to go down that route. And I think they're showing they've got enough options and enough opportunity now to do that. I agree with Tyler. There isn't an argument now to say that TVC is too restrictive. Yeah, exactly. The Army will say as well. Yeah. So,
because I think, keep the basic line going. We all love the look, the big old film out and the classic coffin bubble.
You'll never beat a TVC card back in terms of action figure packaging.
No.
Those are.
But adding these additional expressions is so fun.
I would like to
really, really exciting to see.
Yes, I would like to make the point, as many others in our ally community have made, and I'm sure will make in future Q&As when they have direct communication with Hasbro. The Kenner packaging aesthetic, as far as mainline figures go, basic figures go, with the card back and the bubble, that needs to stay. That it would be detrimental to your carded figure collector base to go away from that. So under no circumstances should we go away from that, if at all possible. If that is an impossibility because of plastic restrictions, it's out of their control or whatever, then this is a close alternative that I would accept personally. But
I love the expression. It's still very Kinnery. It's still very vintage collection. The photography on the front is great with the scenes built out, much like the play sets or the vehicles where it's got like a scene on the box. It just makes the product look exciting. So
one of you mentioned that it'd be great for gifts, like if you were giving a gift or whatever, if you can find them. It's one of those things though too, where we talk so much about world building in the purview of a collector, that you've got an entire world built out. But if you think about it, like the more casual collector, say if you were given this or you saw this, like, oh, I really love Ahsoka, you find a pack that has Ahsoka holding Grogu with basically everything relevant to her in that episode, and all you want is that. You're able to build that mini world. You're able to build out the world of that character. Yeah. So I think that's incredibly important too, because it really toes the line between, how do we further build out our giant sprawling worlds, and also how do we, give someone that experience under the microscope. So I don't know. I enjoy that.
Yeah, and that's why I love, we've said before, and Lewis brought it up recently, the teams and themes.
Teams and themes.
Of something that...
You coined it, not me.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Well, you revived it. Dark science cloning, secrets only Lewis.
Somehow.
But, just the fact that, building out the play sets together with figures and accessories that go with it, or building out a figure with a bunch of accessories all in one go. Similar vibe to having a bunch of figures that go together in the line across, like we're saying, Clone Wars Season 7, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of great Mando stuff happening right now.
All the stuff for the Navarro playset.
Yeah. I really applaud them on that stuff. So I'd like to see it. And it helps people get in, if you get one figure, okay, great, that's fine. You can display it by itself, a Zutton by itself. Mm-hmm. But if you also had a couple other Cantina characters to go with him, or a Luke and a Han and everybody else to go with him, that encourages more purchases, which makes Hasbro more money, makes more collectors instead of just fans who are picking and choosing one or two figures that don't go with anything else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we had already seen the Maldo Kreese Mandalorian and Grogu set revealed in PulseCon in October, but it was another part of this Bring Home the Bounty set up this week. We'll talk about the packaging differences in a second, but this is an item that is numbered, unlike the other three, because this is on a card with a bubble. It's on a larger card. I think it's 2 or 3 inches wider. It's still the same height as far as I understand. But the issue is that it's VC211, which is the same number as one of the characters in the Bad Batch 4-pack, which, yeah, there are some numbering issues.
The Elite Squad Trooper, yeah.
Tyler, you wrote down that the numbering issues have happened now since TVC's return in 2018 4 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and So as you mentioned, 4 times now this has been an issue, and I'm going to go into it. So the first issue was Cara Dune and Yavin Leia, the Yavin ceremony Leia, both being VC 164. The second issue was the Walmart exclusive build-up packs, which were Din Djarin and Grogu and the Incinerator Trooper, both being VC 177, and that was never corrected. So that just drives people nuts. And then they skipped VC 188 for no reason, and there are speculations that they could backfill that with the Death Trooper that's coming in the Navarro Cantina playset, but we don't have a confirmation on that yet, so hopefully they fill in that number gap, because again, that's going to drive people crazy. And now we have 2 VC211s. Okay, first of all, can we, Hasbro, if you're listening to this, can we stop doing this? Can we please, like, can we stop?
I'm just confused how that even happens with the lead times on all this stuff.
Well, hold on. Yeah. Spreadsheets. Okay. Like, there's a simple fix to this, and it's called an Excel spreadsheet. Okay. please stop messing this up. Please stop messing this up, because it drives people crazy. First of all. Secondly, my issue with numbering the Maldo Kreese Deluxe pack. Look, I love the expression. I love the pack. I love the new deluxe concept. Love it, love it, love it. It's fantastic. Love it. More of that, please. Happily part ways with my money for that. If you're going to number them, and numbering them is fine, but if you're going to number them, they need to have their own numbering designation, okay? They need to be like D01, D02, D obviously meaning deluxe.
They tried that with the Black Series in the red line on Phase 3.
Yeah.
They had the deluxe line, and then some of them were D1, D2, D3, D4.
Right. So with the Sith Trooper Armory pack, you had, I think it was 162 and then 162A, right?
Yeah.
That's fine, because you can put that A off over here, right? But my point is, deluxe figures or different expressions other than the mainline single carded releases, okay, that have different dimensions and different aesthetics, those should not be numbered along with the regular procession of figures, okay? Because it throws off the uniformity of a carded display, okay? It ruins the aesthetic of a carded display. You've got people like, Only One Kenobi, shout out to you, buddy, who's got these all over his walls, and they look beautiful and symmetrical, and they're all the same, and now you're going to have this weird deluxe pack in the middle of it all, and it's like, why did you do that? Please don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Please don't stop doing that. That's it. Ran over.
I get you.
And I'll say because they did have in VC 1.0, when they had some figures that didn't quite fit the main line, like Rocket Firing Boba or For Ella Women Zuckuss with the switched names. Those are, I think, VCP, correct? VCP 001. 1, 2, 3.
It's fine to number them. Just
and they haven't numbered the droids figures either, have they? Which again they could have, but it's good that they didn't. I think, but they could have put something. I mean, they just haven't numbered them at all, have they? But it could have been a different reference. It could have been anything. But.
Well, I'll just say on some of these new numbers, at least with the 164, I kind of get what they were going for, because Leia was printed on 164. They didn't have a Darth Revan. That figure was canceled for whatever reason. That was supposed to be 150, so Leia was created. She was moved back at 150, then Cara Dune was made at 164, so that's why there's 2 of those. 177, I don't know why there's 2 of those. That makes no sense. I think one was probably supposed to be 176, but then Echo, who was around like the others in his waiver, like in the early 200s, right? Then they brought him back to be 176 and filled that hole. When I would have preferred they just said, oops, Mando is supposed to be 176. Just move it over one thing on your shelf, on your wall. But then, yeah, these new things, I don't know how they're going to... Yeah.
I can't.
Doesn't work like that, John. It's not printed with 176, so it doesn't count.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to give them an out on this stuff. I'm trying to give them a way to fix this. But send a little sticker we can put on our cards. I know that's blasphemy.
The only way to fix this is fixing it.
Yeah,
fix it.
It comes off a little lazy. My crazy self, like with the Leia, I have both of the numbers in my collection. I have the VC 150 where it's supposed to be, and then I also have her again as VC 164 in front of Cara Dune. Just because they're both VC 164, and she came first. So I have her there. Sorry, that's not any. There's no agenda there of being in front of Cara Dune, just like numerically in front of Cara Dune. But that's one of those where I went back because they did the change, whereas that's an easy way to squeeze money out of suckers like me, is if you go and like, we fixed the number, I'll buy the same damn thing again just to have the right number. So that's me.
Don't tell them that, because they'll keep doing this.
I know it's bad messaging, but come on, guys, because I hurt.
And I'll say personally, this is not exactly where my OCD lies on this stuff. So I don't pay a huge amount of attention to the numbers. I think having the mini cards, Salacious Crumb and Mouse Droid is 66 and 67 kind of killed that for me to begin with.
Yeah.
I don't think they should have done those either.
No, they should not have done those either, but unfortunately they did.
The numbering doesn't bother me either. I'm with you, I think.
Yeah, me neither.
But so I think for the people that it does matter to, when this kind of stuff comes up, it's just, Evan and Tyler, when this does come up, it's just a way for them to get annoyed and, maybe make someone say, okay, maybe I don't need to collect all of them if they're numbered. It's just a little mistake that's going to, get under people's skin.
I think it's just more annoying because they get something so simple wrong. That's where you kind of feel that, again, like the Luke Skywalker and, the other issues they've had in the Black Series with names. It just feels that it's just, like you say, lazy, whether someone's, I don't know, but it shouldn't be.
I don't think it's lazy. It's not laziness. It's a lack of attention to detail and oversight.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
There's got to be people checking the copy on this.
Well,
1,000 people at Hasbro
eyes?
and Lucasfilm and Disney. Nobody has a spreadsheet. If you can't have Excel, get a Google sheet, for God's sake. You can share it on multiple emails. It's not that hard, guys.
But most fans, off the top of their head, I mean, if you'd have asked a single person on, Instagram, Facebook, or anything, right, we're going to number this one, this number, someone would shout out straight away, well, there's already a figure that's got that number. Most of us are aware of it, so surely as part of their job they should be aware of it. That's how I feel anyway.
Most of the target demographic is at least aware of, even if they don't necessarily care about, the VC numbers.
Yeah.
They should know their audience, and we're all anal nerds, so they should know that we care about this stuff, all right?
Alrighty, gang, that does it for our chat. Apologies for some technical issues you may have heard during the episode, but the situation has since been rectified. Anyways, all of the deluxe packs we talked about today were up for pre-order at Walmart last week, and as I touched on at the top of the show, the mainline Fennec Shand release and a deluxe Boba Fett are up for pre-order as general releases, not exclusive to Walmart. Heavy air quotes on deluxe for Boba, but that is a discussion for another day, meaning like next episode, next week. Soon. It's been a while since I've openly begged y'all, but hey, if you haven't already, please consider dropping us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts to help us out. And be sure you're following us on Instagram at SWTVC. To make everything easier for you, check out our link tree in our Instagram bio to find a quick link to drop a rating and a review, as well as any relevant links to new product reveals, exclusives, all that fun stuff. And there's also a link there for you to easily go visit our friends Mia and Grant at ctocollectibles.com. Be sure to use our promo code SWTVC10 at checkout for 10% off your order. Last thing, the annual Balance the Scales initiative is underway over on our Instagram page. John has been putting together some informative lists while I've been pouring through way too much data and figure comparisons, making too many Excel spreadsheets, getting really deep in the weeds to bring you exciting, very exciting statistics posts. Yes, you're going to love them. Bar graphs. No, it is really interesting information. Been working on it for a little longer than I'd like to admit. But I'm going to let the posts and work speak for itself. But the gist here does need to be repeated. It's not about calling for less Black Series. It's calling for more TVC product and better treatment of the lines in terms of parity of offerings around new and relevant media. Some folks seem a little confused by that, and we're doing our best to clear it up. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask, please. We'll likely be talking a lot more about it very soon on the show, but in the meantime, head on over to @SWTVC to see what all the hubbub is about. Okay, gang, that does it for this episode of the SWTVC podcast. Remember, keep 375 alive, back TVC, balance the scales Hasbro, finish the 96, and may the Force be with you.